PCA agencies, qualified professional supervision can now be done remotely for some clients. The DHS in Minnesota is updating its PCA policy to reflect the changes in law about the remote qualified professional visits. The QP or qualified professional visit may conduct the required supervision remotely for person with chronic health conditions or severely compromised immune system when, not all the times, when the person requests a determination from the primary care provider. Who's requesting? The patient, the client, the person is requesting a determination from their primary healthcare provider that they should have a remote QP supervision for their workers because A, they have health chronic condition, or they have severely compromised immune system. Number two, the primary healthcare provider determines remote supervision is appropriate. Number three, the primary healthcare provider documents their determination of need for remote supervision. Number four, the PCA provider agency retains copies of the primary healthcare provider's documents or documentation with all copies of the patient, the client, or the person's plan of care. By the way, if you're a PCA agency, you really cannot call your clients patients because patients refers to healthcare and PCA providers are not healthcare providers. So the QP can do a remote supervision for the PCA worker. Those three things are met. A, patient requested or client requested. B, the primary care provider determined that it's appropriate. And number three, the primary care provider has documented that their determination of need for remote supervision in the patient file or their client file. And four, you have a record of those documentation in your care your care plans file. So the QP must still conduct the initial visit in person or complete the PCA care plan in person. So if you're doing an admission of a PCA patient or PCA client, well, you must do the admission, which means you must do a plan of care as well at the time of admission in person. Okay, this does not affect the policy for remote QP visits for other people using the PCA. Only people who have chronic health conditions and who have severely compromised immune system, and they requested and approved by their doctor, an agency can prove it. Okay, so when you're doing that supervisory visit, make sure you still need to document the supervisory visit. And if you're doing it remotely, then you need to have a system that you can document with the supervisory visit. There comes software. If you're not using, if you're still using paper-based services, you should move into our software. It's a personal care agency software that will help you document your PC supervisory, either in remote or in person, a plan of care, admission forms, EVV visits. If you choose to use the EVV option, if you don't want, you can just turn it off. You can use for billing, payroll reports, scheduling, and all and so on. So if you don't have a software for your PCA services, doing a remote QP supervision becomes also difficult. It's like who did it, what form was used, who you submitted, who you sent it to. It gets complicated. But if you're a small business, especially if you're a big business, you have a lot to lose, right? Since you have a lot to lose, let's say you have 50 clients, you're a big business for 50 clients in home care. If you still have 50 clients and you still are paper-based business for many of your services, not all of them, many of your services, you're not running as efficient as you could be. Anyway, that's the update for PCA Remote Qualified Supervision Policy for the state of Minnesota.